Hi, my amazing souls. It's your blissful soul, Katrina WW4 Wadico. I welcome you and I welcome you back to this YouTube channel for another exciting episode. If you are new here, you've just found my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Kindly watch the video till the end and do consider subscribing to join the Katrina W community, the family, okay? Let's keep growing. And for all my returning subscribers, my boo-boos, my darlings, you're the best. Thank you so much for always appreciating my comments.
With my mug on me. Oh, DD, oh, what it is?
Oh my God, my my content, and for always coming back. Thank you so much. As you are watching this video, kindly remember to like, share it, and also leave me your positive comments in the comment section. And for those who have not subscribed, please do. Now, where am I taking you? Yes, my darlings, we outside. I am attending. I was honored to attend there this year's People's Dialogue Forum. It's a festival. Yeah, those are the hashtags. Form Need Dialogue, hashtag PDF in a chacha. So this is it, and this year's theme. Okay, so this is the PDF, the People's Dialogue Festival. It is organized by Center for Multi-Party Democracy Kenya, and all these were key players and partners. Yeah, all of these from USAID, Embassy of Denmark, and Elgia, Raya, DIPD, SP, yes, all these peoples, yes, a police, UN Women, Conrad, yeah, let me not bite my tongue. Office of the Registrar of Political Parties, I think, and many more. So this is this year's, I think this is the fourth one. Yeah. And the theme is competition and collaboration in democratic development. And now, of course, the parties were here, the UDA, the ruling party, Wiper was in the building. Kano, boy, they had red carpets for entrance. So if you wanted to register for parties or to learn about our political parties, they were here to answer your questions. Here are all the parties that we have in Kenya, even the ones you knew nothing about. Sabina Chege representing for Jubilee, Honorable Sabina Chege. So all the parties were here. ODM, but of course, they had to be here. There were all these parties. Are you a member of any political party in the country? You can tell me your party in the comment section if you're a member of any. So, or if you have noticed that your party was here. Here were all these parties. They were represented here. So all you had to do was come walking into any of them, get to learn about them. If you want to join, express your interest. Yes, among other players that were here. Yes, I think the partners, there were so many booths. So if you've not, when am I putting this? Yes, tomorrow on Thursday. So this this festival is a 4-day event. It's began, to you it will be yesterday. Yesterday is Wednesday, the 6th of March 2024. So you can come tomorrow, Thursday, the 7th, or Friday the 8th, or the last day, the final day, which will be on Saturday, the 9th. Yes, it's going for 4 days. So make sure you pop in, get to learn about the journey of democracy, multi-parties, and other players that are here. Not everyone here is political. There are very many people. Now, of course, what's a festival without entertainment? Yeah, so here was entertainment, of course. Yeah, so make sure you pop in. We also have NGOs that are part of this, so you can come and learn a lot, because for there to be complete democracy, there also has to be inclusion. So there were students and schools that were involved, also included, and several NGOs.
Thank you so much, Jugush, our chief guest. I want to acknowledge the presence of our other guests. We have been joined by the ambassador of the EU in Kenya. Welcome, High Excellency. We also have a number of elected leaders that are joining us, and we will be able to recognize. I want to take this opportunity to welcome a very special Kenyan, unknown to many, and that is what PDF does. It brings you people that you would want to have a conversation with. I want to invite a gentleman who is credited being among the 5 Kenyans who wrote the national anthem. He's the only one that is surviving. He's the founder of the Presidential Permanent Music Commission.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and the pupils from various schools. I'm extremely happy to be here today, to have been invited. I got my invitation just about 2 days ago, but I thought this was an important occasion that I should leave my very busy schedule to come and attend.
I also wanted to show you who was also the master of ceremony, Miss Manjuguna. Jugush, the comedian, or the creative. The creative was here, and also present was his wife, Wakavinye.
The national anthem. We realize that all the affairs of men and women are in the hands of God. So, O God of all creation, and we ask God for blessings for our country. And then the next line talks haki iwe ngao na mlinzi. Justice be our shield and defender. May we dwell in unity, peace, and liberty, and plenty be found in our border.
And our Nairobi Senator, the next speaker, was welcomed on stage with a dance from Luyaland.
DJ Oriomuno West. Good afternoon. No, good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Speaking to the issue of Mwachamila and Mtumwa, the challenges of our faulty history and the need to teach our young people right history, because it is out of that that we will be able to nurture our Utu. Thank you so much, our chief guest. In PDF, we concern ourselves a lot about intergenerational dialogue.
Committee report that is a product of bipartisanship between our various political interests in this country. And I want to make this assurance here that in fact we in ODM have understood the value of competition and collaboration amongst political parties. It is almost frowned upon in this country to be seen with your political opponents. And those of you who follow Kenyan politics will understand that immediately a picture of my party leader, Honorable Raila Odinga, emerged with the President of the Republic, Honorable William Ruto, and the President of Uganda. There has been a lot of things being said. It is as if it is not allowed for us to shake hands or to be in the same space at all. If I sit down with Honorable Farah Maalim or indeed Honorable Kanini Kega, there are many things that we can discuss that do not entail Kanini Kega joining ODM or indeed me joining his faction of Jubilee. No, we have many things that we can put on the table to discuss as leaders of this country in a manner that is peaceful. Lastly, I think it was the other day when we were celebrating 20 years of the Center for Multi-Party Democracy. I think I should have disclosed to you that I am also a former vice chairperson of the Center for Multi-Party Democracy. And in my remarks during that event, I said that the responsibility for our generation and this generation that is coming behind us is to ensure that every single gain that we have had in the democratic space in this country is protected. Because there is no guarantee that things will always be like this. Professor Omondi, about 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago, I stood here to graduate from the University of Nairobi with a bachelor's degree in law. And in fact, this is the first time I'm coming back. If you remember the election of 2002, my generation, that was the first time I was casting a ballot in this country. And I voted for Mwai Kibaki. I am a Luya. You have heard the music that was played. I am a Luya, but I voted for Kibaki, knowing Kibaki is a Kikuyu. I voted in 2007 for Raila Odinga, knowing Raila is not a Luya. He is a Luo. I, in fact, as Edwin Sifuna, have never voted for a Luya presidential candidate. Yet I am a Luya. In 2001, Professor Omondi, I believed that we had buried tribalism. Personally, I saw it. We were so enthusiastic in the voting lines. Everybody was saying we want to get rid of this monster called KANU. We want freedom to speak. We want freedom to meet. We want freedom to worship. And that is why we were so enthusiastic in those lines. I can assure you, Professor, the disappointment that you felt when you were asked what your tribe is a disappointment we all face right now, seeing how tribalism has reared its head back into our society. And I am hoping, for the sake of the younger ones here, that we can create a country that is different from the one we inherited, that we will have a generation that will rise up and defeat this monster called tribalism, that we will re-inject meritocracy in the hiring of people. We will give people opportunities, all these young people going to school and doing their best to make sure that they get an education should have a fair chance, irrespective of what their second names are. So I want to conclude my remarks by saying that at least for us, as a generation of political leaders, we have a responsibility to learn from those who have gone before us, to pick the good that they can teach us, and to leave the bad manners behind. We want to build a country where everybody feels they have a fair chance to make themselves something, and that they will be viewed for what they bring to the table and not where they come from in this country. I thank you, and I wish you very fruitful deliberations. Because I'm the Senator of Nairobi, and the young people call me the Cabinet Secretary for enjoyment. If there is anything you need, tell me today. I can see our ambassadors here. Kama hajawahi kula nyama choma, tumuingize masehemu, si ndio? Ama mnasemaje? Kuna sehemu za sherehe, waone sherehe.
The leaders of tomorrow. I believe that children are the leaders of today. Now, before I tell you about child leadership, what is a leader? Well, according to the English dictionary, a leader is a person who leads or commands a group, organization, or country. But a leader is also someone who has integrity, empathy, communication, and is an active listener. You might know what a leader is, but why are they that important? Leaders are there to establish a clear direction and goal and inspire others using communication and teamwork among team members to help them succeed. It is important for children to lead. We are the future. Letting them lead benefits us, but additionally, them too. Leading allows children to have control over their lives and their ability to make things happen. Children need to practice self-regulation skills and build independence. What better way than to let them take charge? Some children around the world have already started changing their communities. For example, Jalen Arnold. He was diagnosed with Tourette's syndrome, an obsessive-compulsive disorder. He started the Jalen's Challenge Foundation to advocate for bullying prevention. He educates children about preventing bullying and was named a World of Children Award honoree in 2014. So someone closer to us from Africa is Yola Mngogwana. Born and raised in Cape Town, 11-year-old Yola Mngogwana sees the effects of climate change every single day. One day it is hot, and the next day it is heavily raining. The farmers and ultimately the whole community is suffering from its consequences. Yola decided to do something about it. She started volunteering with an organization called the Earth Child Project, which works to educate school children and communities about the environment. Through the organization, she has spoken to thousands of young people in Cape Town, empowering them to take action for a better future. Ways children can be involved in leadership is by identifying a cause and doing something about it, just as Jalen and Yola did. They fixed something that was not working in their community. Here in Kenya, I believe that children can play a part in positively influencing climate change. One of the problems faced in Kenya is a lack of adequate forest cover. Kenya is one of the least forested countries in Africa. The global average is 420 trees per person, whereas Kenya stands at 67 trees per person. Kenya forests are important because they host 1,847 species of animals and 6,505 types of vascular plants. I strongly believe here in Kenya, as children, we can play a role in creating awareness and rallying support for our fellow children to keep planting trees to ensure reduce of the harmful effects of deforestation. Thank you.
Everyone, I hope you're having a very wonderful day today. First, allow me to start by first registering my gratitude for the organizers of this event in March 2024. I would also like to deliver my appreciation for giving me this chance to actually express myself in terms of the boy child. We all know how hard or at times how difficult it is for a boy's life. Knowing that we're in the radar when it comes to police and the government and even security in terms of welfare and everything, considering the boy child, we are in a very hot radar. So at times we may face situations which may puzzle us in many ways. So with me today, coming from a very insecure environment, I like to say that we are actually affected by being boys in our community. This is because we can probably indulge in some instances such as drugs, influence, peer pressure, and so on. And these things actually impact us in very negative ways when we don't have self-control amongst ourselves. So we should actually have a way of controlling what we do and who we associate with in terms of influence and peer pressure. So first off, I'd like to kick off with sending my gratitude once more. And as I was coming today, I got to look at our environment in terms of security, in terms of how clean the environment is, and I compared it with where we come from. You can find that most of the boy child are actually the ones who are hustling around, and they don't have a sense of direction. And this should not be directed to them, because one thing that we can be sure of is not their fault. So whose fault is it then? Why is it that boys are actually suffering more? Why is it that in terms of education purpose, in terms of families, in terms of peer pressure, why is it that the boy child is the one to be suffering? There are programs which have been directed to us, and most of them have actually dwelled on the girl child. The girl child, they are being considered more in terms of various things. And this probably is viewed in different ways, since we all know we have different opinions when it comes to viewing stuff. I can have a view on something, and at the same time, my view is different from yours.
Master of Ceremony and the Executive Director. Our chief guest, Honorable Falamarim, our outgoing chairperson, CMD, Madam Nyokavi, our Honorable, our Excellency Ambassadors present here today, Honorable Members of Parliament and Senators here, all leaders here today, all invited guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, good morning. Well, I did not get a response. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. I must start by appreciating CMD for inviting us here today, and we truly thank you. Myself, I'm thrilled, I'm excited to be here. When the MC was calling people out to dance, I must have moved in the opposite directions. When he said move this way, I must have moved this the other way. When he said chini kwa chini, I must have gone the other way. And that's why I love this space, simply because it's inclusive of all of us. So thank you, CMD, for the opportunity. So my name is Eric Ngondi. I am the chair of United Disabled Persons of Kenya, UDPK. It is the umbrella, the national umbrella body of organizations of persons with disabilities in the country, mandated to champion the united voices of persons with disability. It also champions meaningful inclusion of persons with disabilities in all spheres of life, as enshrined in our constitution, all other international treaties, the conventions of persons with disabilities. We are proud that we are here, courtesy of CMD. And as I was preparing what to share today, I wondered what more can I add to this important stage where many legendary people like Prof. Omondi has stood and others. And I thought the simple thing to share with you is my journey. And within this space, I'll be talking in the few minutes that I have. Just want to share with you my journey as a person with visual impairment. So obviously 13 years ago, I was involved in a violent robbery and I lost sight. So I was attacked and I lost my eyes. Well, I did not lose my vision. So for that important information, just know persons with disabilities do have vision, even if they don't, they may have several impairments. So today when I thought about what to share with you, I thought about the different barriers that I may have faced. And I want to tell you the 4 important barriers that persons with disabilities are experiencing in whatever spaces that they are. First, I want to talk of attitudinal barriers that persons with disabilities continue experiencing in our environment, in our country. So we are talking about the norms, the stereotypes, the prejudices, the discrimination and stigmatizations that persons with disabilities experience. So when I look at myself, for example, as a graduate, engineer graduate of JKUAT, and I visit places, and the first thing they will ask, well, will this person perform just like any other engineer? So such kind of attitudes at persons with disabilities. I did meet my good friend here today, Hannah Wanja, an excellent, prolific speaker and politician and journalist, but obviously she always faces this sort of attitudes wherever she is, wherever she goes, and many of our persons here. And I do thank the CMD for creating a space for us to share. Second is the communication barrier that people with different disabilities face. So this we are talking about people with different impairments when they are not included in terms of communication. So when, for example, I'm not seeing what's happening in front of me, how can we create a space that is inclusive of a person like myself? What about the hearing? And I'm proud of PDF today, because as I was coming in, I had the MC calling out all the CLI, the sign language interpreters, to a caucus. kujadiliana vile ambao they'll deliver on this platform. So thank you CMD for creating that space. And so that is communication. So do we put caption when we hear of my good friend Ashura, for example? Have we created a space where she can also participate as a person who is deaf? What about those with intellectual disabilities? Yeah, what sort of communication can we put in space? And here I'm talking even to you, our leaders, our MPs, our senators. Are we being inclusive when we put all those things? When we do not put those things in space. The third is the physical environment that we participate in. We come in our parliament, our senate, our buildings. Are they accessible to persons with disabilities? When I meet my good friend Mwiti on a wheelchair user, will he be able to access this environment? And I'm glad again because the CMD and other organizers did call and say to UDPK and asked, so how can we make this environment more accessible? Will a person who is a wheelchair user be able to access this space? What about the washrooms and other spaces? So these are the things that we need to put in space. And when I talk of environments, I do also think of physical, but also as well as virtual environment. Are we making that space also accessible? Food for thought. And finally, I want to talk of the institutional barriers that we have. Sometimes we do create policies, we do create laws, acts, and so on and so forth that are not inclusive of persons with disabilities. So it's imperative that they are on the table, that they are supported to participate in that, in those, developing those, so that we do not, by omission or commission, leave them behind.
And two students were privileged to welcome Her Excellency the EU Ambassador, European Union Ambassador, on stage with a dance. Yeah, and they got a good reward for it. Yeah. Can you guess the reward? Try.
And as a thank you, I would like to invite you to our embassy of the European Union to be EU ambassador for a day. You have my card, so please come and see what diplomatic life is all about. And just to tell you, there is no diplomatic dance. That doesn't exist. But I'm learning, and our fellow diplomats are also learning how to dance. So let me just tell you very briefly what we are doing in the EU for democracy. But first of all, let me start by asking you a question. Do you think that politics are boring?
No.
Do you think politics are boring?
No.
I bet most of you think that politics are very boring. They are not for you. I think politics can be very boring. They can be very boring if you do not get involved. It's a completely different story when you're involved. Last year, on the stage of this very event, where we were at the National Museum grounds, I remember several of you came up on stage and they said to everybody in the audience, I want to be president of this country. Several boys and girls had that courage. And I hope many of you in the audience dream of one day becoming the president of this beautiful country. Dream big, go for it. Democracy can only work if it's supported by the people. And if you, the new generation, and the future leaders of this country are not engaging in politics, democracy has no chance. It will be dead. Without participation, democracy cannot live. But democracy has to work for the people. It has to bring peace, prosperity to all of us, to all of you. And you have to be convinced that democracy delivers. Today, in this world, more countries are ruled by authoritarian regimes than countries living and enjoying a democracy. And if you have always lived in a democracy, you don't know what it means to live under authoritarian rule. I have not lived under authoritarian rule myself, but I have seen many who suffer from it. Do you appreciate freedom of speech? Do you appreciate human rights? Do you appreciate the freedom to become who you want to be? This is democracy. This is the guarantor of your fundamental freedoms. You have to defend it. Get engaged. Get involved. Build and further develop Kenya's vibrant democracy. And have the courage to become a candidate for public function and office in the 2027 elections. But all of you, please vote and hold the government that will be elected in 2027 accountable. This is the role of civil society. Without a vibrant civil society and without public engagement of all of you, Kenya cannot further develop. So this is your right and also your civic obligation. And in this way, you can make a great contribution to shape Kenya's future. And Kenya has a great reputation for being a vibrant democracy. It's an example for many other countries in Africa and around the world. So you have a reputation to protect, and I hope that all of you, as you're going into the future and build your personal lives and go from achievement to achievement and from success to success, please do not forget that without engaging in public life, you cannot prosper. Nobody can prosper. So we are all in this together, and the EU has learned that the European Union, through a democracy at the European level, we achieved peace and prosperity for many generations already.
We're going to do this with decorum, so he'll just walk straight up. DJ, unaweka nini?
Check.
Yeah, he'll just walk. Yeah, ndio sisi hao.
Full of your presence, working miracles. Lord, I give you We don't swing in my culture. We jump up and down like the Maasais. So I've tried a bit of singing. Thank you very much. All protocol observed. Hamjambo.
Hatujambo.
Hamjambo nyote.
Hatujambo.
I am honored to represent my speaker in this very, very, very great occasion. I also can claim some credit in the initial establishment of CMD in this country. We were those who participated very early. And I want to congratulate them for having done such a good job. My role is very simple today. I'm going to read the speech of my speaker. I'm here on behalf of my speaker. And many of you refer to me as the deputy speaker. Incidentally, I'm not the deputy speaker in this parliament. I used to be a deputy speaker in the 10th parliament, but I'm in the speaker's panel there, which is more like an assistant speaker. So I'll begin. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to join you for the People's Dialogue Festival, which is an initiative that brings together not just political leaders, but also the people of Kenya. I note that this is the 5th People's Dialogue Festival, the first festival having been held in 2019. To this end, allow me to commend the Center for Multi-Party Democracy for this great initiative in seeking to give the people of Kenya a platform to engage on critical issues towards good governance, accountability, and transparency. Over the years, the Center for Multi-Party Democracy has played a critical role towards strengthening political parties and enhancing multi-party democracy in our great country. Indeed, most great leaders in this country have benefited from the great work done by the Center for Multi-Party Democracy in promoting the institutional capacity of political parties. I can safely say I'm one of those people who benefited from the good work that was done by CMD in this country. I'm glad that CMD, Center for Multi-Party Democracy, has now gone beyond focusing on political parties and leaders and has identified the real link for promoting social justice and transformation in a society which is augmenting participation of the people through dialogue initiatives such as this one we are celebrating now. Further, as you are aware, last week, Parliament adopted the National Dialogue Committee report, which is a product of public engagement and dialogue on issues of concern to the people of Kenya. I did observe from the report that the Center for Multi-Party Democracy was also a key stakeholder in the dialogue process and made contributions in the dialogue towards strengthening political parties, among many other issues. Ladies and gentlemen, Article 1 of the Constitution, our Constitution, the 2010 Constitution, provides for the sovereignty of the people of Kenya. This power is exercised directly or indirectly through the 3 arms of government. Citizen involvement in public affairs is one way through which the sovereignty of the people of Kenya is upheld. By creating opportunities for Kenyans to discuss critical issues, I believe this respects and upholds our sovereignty. Our Constitution further exposes the national values and principles of governance, which key among them is the participation of the people. Dialogue discourses are hence the embodiment of the national values and principles of governance as espoused in the Constitution, in Article 10 of our Constitution. Indeed, by giving the people of Kenya a platform to be heard and speak out, this is the real definition of public participation. I must admit, we still do not have a statute on how public participation should be conducted, but we are doing it anyway, the way we are doing it now. The idea behind the People Dialogue Festival is even closer to us as the National Assembly. Article 95 of the Constitution provides for the functions of the House, which include to resolve the issues of concern to the people of our great republic. We, however, recognize that it's only through dialogue that one can identify the real issues of concern of the people. The idea we also recognize that it's only through dialogue that one can identify the real issues of concern to the people. Ladies and gentlemen, the Latin saying, vox populi, vox Dei, which translated means the voice of the people is the voice of God, illustrates further the sanctity of dialogue. To this end, I am pleased to note that the festival for this year is all about giving Kenyans a platform to speak up for their hearts, from their hearts, and to be understood. By allowing the citizenry participation in voicing the issues of concern, this shall certainly promote the political, social, and economic development of our great country. Further, I note that the festival is also intended to be held in 6 counties through the Gumzo Mtaani Festival. In the political field, there is a slogan that goes, ground ndio kusema. In other words, all politics, at the end of the day, is local. All seasoned politicians in this country can attest to the fact that servant leadership emanates from listening to the people, to the citizens, and listening to the concerns of our people. The Gumzo Mtaani Dialogue Initiative is hence similar to being on the ground to engage Kenyans of all walks of life in a meaningful conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, for this Parliament, Article 118 of the Constitution encompasses the mechanism for engaging the people.
Well, after I decided to visit the various villages around, look at this creativity. Oh my God, people are talented out here, the kind of government we want that supports everyone, includes everyone, that lady, woman selling her produce in an open air market, that boda rider, every single person, the youths, Wangari Maathai, oh, the legend. So there were very many booths and villages, as you can see. All these were part of it. Now this was my best one. We'll come here soon, not this one. Culinary Conversations Kenya Corner by our friends from Denmark in collaboration or conjunction with Utalii College. They taught us some things. You're going to see at the very end of this. Yeah. So I took some time there. So there was the youth village. So if you come here tomorrow, you'll be spoiled for choice. Before the day ends, you will have learnt a lot, met a lot of people. If you are a person for making friends, you'll have made friends and connections, because the booths here were so many and the villages. So you went where you felt you liked it best, or something that resonates with you. Here was the one for SDGs, but this is a bit smaller. I think it's for the SDGs for what do we call them? SDGs Forum, Kenya Forum. Yeah. Here is another one. I mean, they were plenty. I didn't even manage to talk to all of them. These are Coast Regional Budget Hub. There is IBP Kenya. There is what do we call this? ALIF. That's what they do. That's about them. So if they interest you, make sure to check them out tomorrow. Here, Polycom. Bongana Sisi. Polycom Development deals with women and girls. There it is. I'm supposed to pay them a visit. I'm waiting for someone to confirm when we are going there. But I'm coming. Polycom, I'm coming soon. Yeah, so I took more interest there. There's Umande Trust. Here was Kewopa. Women were fully represented. Kenya Women Parliamentary Association. They were also present. So note, then decide where you are going to go tomorrow, right? UNESCO is here. Well represented, and it was beautiful. I see how they had made their tent look beautiful, and the vibe was giving, with the balloons and blue and white, perfect combio. The combination was beautiful. Uraya were here. Here was Uraya. Man, imagine if you are working for all these people, you are being paid to advertise them. Canada Mudari also here. USAID was here. So you're marking, where will you visit? Which tent? Which FIDA? Kenya was here. Ustawi Kenya. Actually, there are people I've not yet interacted with before that I met here. Young Women Leaders Connect. She Rise program. Yeah. These are people you need to know more about. I never knew we had Kenya Youth MCAs. I didn't know these KIMSA or KIMSA, what do we call it? Kenya Youth MCA, Home of the Young MCAs. I didn't know we had that. So I'm grateful for the People Dialogue Festival. I got to know here's the Social Justice Center Working Group. Yeah. So a lot. Kaipa was here. The Kenya. It's in the Youth Assembly. I'm telling you. So you see, a lot is happening here. So it's not all political. Don't be bored. You can get many people. And finally, I took my time here at the SDGs village. I really am passionate about SDGs, As a person with disability, I am rooting for the 17 SDGs to be achieved, especially in our country, because when this happens, a lot of us are going to be enjoying healthy living, healthy lifestyle, a life that is worth it, a life that is worth being lived. And I love this. See the kind of setup that was here. Sitting on these were fun. I sat on those instead of the chairs. It looked wonderful. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't get you the talks. I couldn't record because their microphones or the system, something had an issue. So it was so hard. Because 1 minute it was speaking, the next minute it's not speaking. So before we get the speaker to understand that they cannot be heard, the microphone is malfunctioning. They have already spoken a lot. So, but these systems, they are man-made, they can fail. So I stopped recording. But we learned about a lot about the SDGs, where we are standing as a country. What more? needs to be done. And I really pray that in Kenya it's not just going to be on paper. Actually, one of us, the lady with disability, was able to ask a question and she got a response. So I love where there is inclusivity. So I took my time here. Now on Thursday, I will be on the youth village, I suppose, with the United Disabled Persons of Kenya. Yeah, you can catch me there. And you can learn more about the UDPK and all it does. Yes, from our point of view. Yeah, so this was the match I could capture here. Unfortunately, yeah, if I put it on, you can barely hear our beautiful lady friend from, I think they were from Denmark. Yeah, Danish, I think so. So yeah, so I decided to show you around and tell you, but I hope in your small capacity you are helping out, like the SDG on climate change and everything. I hope you're not littering the environment everywhere and then expecting the government to come and do cleanup for you. Let's do the bit that we can. Let's plant trees. Let's ensure we are living in places that are safe. Don't go littering everywhere. If you wasted litter, let's put it in a dustbin. Now here, another favorite part, we were being taught how to conserve food, to reduce food wastage by the Danish friends, yes, they are from Denmark. Now this is a mixture of ugali flour and quinoa. That's right, quinoa flour. And it was making some beautiful pancakes. And then we added spring onion. They added some smoked fish and spring, what is that? And sweet potatoes. It looked beautiful and it tasted amazing. Listen to this. Quinoa and ugali flour. Here there's sweet potatoes, there's smoked fish, and then we add the spring onion.
Okay.
Yeah, this recipe is from which country?
Where we're from?
Yeah,
We're from Denmark.
this is from Denmark.
Hello.
Yeah. In the interest of time, we now have to end our video. Yeah, so there was a lot going on, a lot to learn, and so much fun. Of course, it's a festival. There's so much music and everything. Yes, and finally it was time to go home. Remember, the venue is the University of Nairobi Graduation Square grounds. So see you there on Thursday. They'll be there on Friday and concluding on Saturday the 9th. Otherwise, I hope you've liked this video. I'll be catching you on the next one. Ensure you have liked, subscribed, and leave your positive comments. Bye-bye.